This is Feed Your Mind, and in today's video, we're going to talk about if Adam and Eve were real, plus why they were really punished. Now, I'm going to be doing a poll, so be on the lookout for that on this question, if Adam and Eve were real. But you can also leave comments in the comment section to vote as well, and let me know your thoughts on this discussion. In a future video coming up, we're going to also talk about if the Bible is real, or if it's just a book or something, or some type of thing that people made up to control us. So we're going to cover that in another video. But for now, let's talk about Adam and Eve. So look, people have questioned if Adam and Eve was just a story. But look, here's the thing. Isn't it logical to be able to trace back humanity to two people? Is that so far-fetched? Is that so far out of reality to consider it being a real story that the world, or I might as well say this earth, is it so far out of the question to believe that this earth started with two people? Even later on in Genesis, we hear about Noah's flood, which we had some incredible discussions about that on my Feed Your Mind 2 channel. So make sure you go over there and check those videos out. But as far as the flood, one thing that kind of connects with the Adam and Eve thing is how the Creator wanted Noah to put two of every animal in the ark. And so that shows us that there could be something to that, because Adam and Eve started with two people, according to the Bible, and then later on, the same formula was used where two animals was used to restart and repopulate the animal world after the flood. And so sets of two starts off a lot. You can get a lot from two. And so mankind is made in the image of the Creator. And at first, the Bible said it was just Adam. Others will say there was two creations where people were made, and I guess they're assuming that every race was made. And then they're trying to say that later on in the garden, Adam and Eve was created. Now, I've done a lot of research on this, and from what I'm kind of settling with now, after doing all the research and hearing all the arguments, I'm thinking that I'm kind of still leaning towards the origin story of the world starting with Adam and Eve. But let me know your thoughts on that as well. Do you think that there was two creations? Yeah, so I did hear a pretty convincing argument that that's not true, that there was two creations. Like I think it was the sixth day where mankind was created, or Adam. And then they say later on, well, it says that the Bible says something about God created man and woman or something. The arguments are pretty interesting, actually. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. I might have to do a deeper analysis on that. But as of now, I'm kind of leaning towards the original story of people starting with just Adam and Eve. But like, as far as the races, I mean, how could that come out of just two people? Well, I don't know. That's a whole nother story, because really with the animal kingdom, you can see how you got two dogs, and then you got all these species of dogs, all these different colors of dogs. And with any animal, really, there's all types of different animals, but they're all the same kind, because that's another clue from the Bible, according to their kind. So you'll have tons of kinds of one animal. They're all in the group, though. Different types of cats, different types of dogs, and everything like that. So it's not really too far-fetched to think that Adam and Eve could have birthed all the races. Maybe each race was a different child. Maybe Adam and Eve was an unknown race, and maybe they had, um, each child was a different race. And then maybe they had sets of two eventually. Who knows if they had a lot of twins at first, a boy and a girl. Because it does sound like in the beginning they had to have relations with siblings. That's the one thing that sounds kind of, this is where things get kind of complicated, I guess. So I think most people just kind of don't think too much about these types of discussions because it can be kind of uncomfortable to think about. But I mean, if you guys want to have at it in the comment section, we can tackle this and brainstorm on it. Now, as far as the sinning was involved and how they messed up, here's one thing I wanted to talk about because I told you in the title I was going to talk about why they really were punished. Well, with that, I kind of had a thought the other day that it seems like, what if they even sinned if it wasn't for the fallen one? The fallen one had came down and influenced mankind. Not to say that they don't get the blame anyways, because I think they even tried to use that as an excuse. I think when the Creator challenged Adam on what was going on, it sounded like he was trying to like point the finger and said, well, it was Eve, and then he has Eve, and then she was like, well, it was the serpent in the garden, so not to say it justifies what happened, that it was all the fallen one's fault, but at the same time, it's almost like, did mankind get a fair shot because they were influenced by the fallen one? Would have they even been tempted? Would have they even sinned? You see, that's another thing that came up later on in the Bible, which makes the Bible so incredible of a book, because how a lot of things tie together. And so later on, the Messiah was tempted by the fallen one, and he tried to tempt him to lose his role as what he was about to accomplish. And he was up there trying to tempt him. And then the Messiah had to reject him and rebuke him and told him to get away, go away. People say, get behind me. No, I looked more into that. I always knew something was wrong with that, saying, get behind me. I don't even say his name, but it's like, no, don't get behind, get away. I looked into the root word of I rebuke you and all that. It sounded more like the Messiah was saying to go away, not get behind them. But anyways, as far as, it's kind of cool to see the connections, though. There's a lot of connections in the Bible that come up later on in different books, and you got to put it together. It's not like it lays it out for you and tells you this goes with that story earlier that we told you. No, you got to be wise and be able to like put things together with your own mind, and sometimes you can hear others and put the connections together for you too, but you got to read it and be able to think and understand, and it's not all going to be laid out for you. So these connections in the Bible, like I said earlier, is the Bible just a book, or is it something, or is it a real thing? That's another interesting aspect that we'll probably be talking about, because it's incredible how there's so many connections that you got to put. It's like a puzzle that you can put together. But as far as them, Adam and Eve, what if they sinned? If they weren't influenced, it's like, that's something that just kind of, I thought about the other day, and I was just kind of like, yeah, that's very interesting. It's almost as if life, like I said, could be an experiment or something, because it doesn't dismiss their charges that they weren't influenced. Like if somebody influenced you to do something bad, take money that doesn't belong to you or something, it's like you go on a lick with somebody to take their money, and if somebody might even get hurt in the process, if If I saw a movie the other day that was just kind of like that, where the guys were in the car and then they sent the one guy in and he took the people out in the house, but then it turned out it was the wrong people. So he took out a whole family for no reason. Mother and the daughter, the dad survived, but he took them out, and then when we got back in the car, they said, "That's the wrong house. You went in the wrong house." And then that later came back to haunt him, and later came back to get him because of what he did. And the other ones survived and were able to live their lives because they didn't do that. The guy that went in and did it, and it's just like the authorities. Sometimes they do things because they're told. They do things because they're told. We saw a lot of stuff with the lockdowns and everything. A lot of stuff was going on. A lot of stuff, people do things because they're told, because they were instructed. Does that excuse them? Because they're saying, well, that was my orders. So it's no excuse for, apparently what the lesson we are supposed to learn is that it's no excuse to be influenced or tempted. That doesn't excuse you. But it almost seems like, it almost feels like, I wonder if things would have been different if that never happened. If they were not influenced, would have they continued to live in the garden without messing up? So look, I want to know what you guys think about everything we discussed in this video. If Adam and Eve was real, and if you have any thoughts about what we talked about as far as them being tempted, and that's what led them to sin, versus if they were free from that temptation, would have they, stayed on the right path? So look, that's about it for today. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to leave some links for you all. I'm going to leave a link to my other channels and my social media and my free email newsletters. I'm also going to leave a link if you would like to support this channel to help keep Feed Your Mind online. You can donate as little as $1, and that will help me keep online. Plus, you're going to help me get much more documentary style videos out with lots of visuals, well edited movie type videos like that. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.